Hello everyone, welcome to Scullymations, and for the first time, I'm going to be starting one of my storytelling videos. As you can see, I've changed the looks of my mascot, mainly the head. I wanted to keep the original model, but the head was far too janky animated. May keep the hat though, we'll see. Also, I'd like to thank everyone and my classmates for bringing more attention to my videos. I really appreciate it. Anyways, I'll be talking about my most interesting experience at my amazing summer camp.
Don't worry, man. You're almost to the top.
Wait a minute. Yo, these rocks are kind of loose. Relax, I got you, man. You ain't got. Oh my god! Oh. Anyways, on my first time at the camp, it went pretty decent. When my parents dropped me off, I headed to my cabin to meet my counselor, and when I met him, I kid you not, he looked like Jesus Christ himself. After meeting my bunkmates and getting all settled, we headed to the main cabin for supper. Now, in my camp, I learned one thing. Bog ball was the hot shot game of the camp. Now, bog ball is a mix of several different sports in a bog. It's a mix of soccer, football, basketball, a bunch of other balls, all on a bog. And before that game even starts, all during the week of camp, if you mention it during mealtime, the camp goes absolutely berserk. What's bog? On the second day, it was a scorcher, so everyone at the camp just headed to the docks to cool off. Only issue for me that it took me forever to get to the lake since I had no proper lake footwear. So I had to go barefoot. Once I got to the dock, I noticed a low floating dock floating out in the lake. Everyone was calming onto it and rocking it back and forth until it tipped to the point where there was only one last man standing. So I decided to join in. To give you guys some context for future videos, I'm only 15, but I am a living tank of a human. I am 6'4". Anyways, it took me a hot minute to get on, but once I was on, things went off the rails quick. We ran back and forth across the dock, but before it fully tipped, I ended up slipping on the wet wood and clinging onto the edge of the dock while everyone else fell off. Second round, I wasn't really that lucky. Once we started rocking the dock, I accidentally fell off before the dock fully tipped. Oh shit, oh my god! Anyways, after a few other days of activities and such, I ended up going to on my overnight where we went out into the wilderness to a small campsite. Unfortunately, it rained that night, making everything muddy, including my shoes. By the next day, we had to bushwhack a few of our own paths just to get back. Once we got back to summer camp, it was time
for bog ball.
Before the game even started, we all stood in front of the main cabin. We had a bunch of charcoal on our bodies and such as if it was war paint. Once everyone was gathered up, we headed to the edge of the forest. My cabin counselor spent the week collecting bread inside of a bottle to make bread bombs. He popped them on a log, grabbed an axe, and hacked at them. They blew up into pieces, and it was the ultimate fireworks before the game started. We all took our shoes off, took whatever extra gear we didn't want wet, and we trekked out into the forest, barefoot. I ended up cutting myself a few times on a few branches, but once we got in, it was completely smooth sailing. Apart from me sinking into the bog. When the game started, it was absolute havoc. Everyone was running around, the ball was flying around. I wasn't really playing much, I was just messing around the bog, I was stuck. After a good few minutes of playing the game, it was time to run over to the lake to wash off. Once we all washed off, cleaned ourselves up, and went to bed, it was the last day where we got home. I entered the camp one person, and I came out, and my parents quote, smelling like a homeless man. On my next year, not really much happened. It was mainly raining, unfortunately. Some of the big highlights I can remember was when my friend joined. There was also a big prank where some folks put a washing machine on top of the main podium. My bunkmates breaking a broom over my back while we were pillow fighting. Mind you, I'm tanky as hell. In my third and latest year, a lot happened all the way from the start. I got to reunite with my old bunkmates and counselor. I met a bunk named Kobe, but we call him TM, which meant tenderized meat. We and we did not tell him until the end of camp. Also learned to expect a lot through the years, especially a bog ball. Mainly learning to lift my plate and whatever else I can see so it doesn't fall over when they smash the tables in. Anyways, this year had a lot more to offer, especially my favorite, nightclub. It was insane. When we were started, we were given PVC pipes wrapped in pool noodles and were told to spar. In the next part, we were split into 2 teams and were told to fight one another. And let me tell you, it was half sword in real life. By the end of it, it was boys versus girls. And us boys, as curious as ever, decided to make some crazy custom weapons. My bunkmates built what they called the Crucible, and I built a double baton for arm protection that could swing out to be a double saber. The battle made it to the point where I pretty much had a Stormtrooper shock baton, but I was moving different with those weapons.
Raider!
Anyways, after all that, it was time for canoeing. The games were insane, and at one point we managed to cross the entire lake. Instead of the overnights, we did this whole thing where each group, where there's things like horse riding, canoeing, and a bunch of other things, you basically have your own main activity for each one. The horse riders have their own personal rodeo, and since I was in canoeing, we did one of the biggest adventures yet. We went down the Rocky Mountain Rapids. It was around 11 in the morning, and we showed up at the start of the river route after riding in a little clown car. A bunch of tall people in a little car for 10 minutes. While we were prepping canoes, another group of us from a summer school showed up in jumpsuits who were here for river rapid riding. Yeah, that just flags up a couple bad things. Anyways, we got into the river and began slowly going down, but the worst was yet to come. We had lunch on a miniature island before getting to the big, powerful rapids, where my canoe almost lost balance and capsized, but somehow we stayed afloat. We were very, very wet though. Once we got past the rapids that were near Ptolemy and there were around 3 groups that tipped, it was finally smooth sailing all the way through. Midway, we decided to take a quick break on a little island, and we ended up jumping off a cliff into a river. Once we landed at the end, I opened the trash bag that I used to keep all my stuff dry, also several other people's stuff dry, just to find out there was holes in the bottom and everything sopping wet. We were literally at the camp. I opened my bag. Oh no. Guys, what? Your stuff's wet. Oh no. Anyways, at the camp, at the night before we were going home was, dare I say, interesting. We were all sleeping peacefully, and suddenly, someone was screaming at the top of their lungs. It was one of our bunkmates having night terrors and sleep paralysis at the same time. After all that, it was time to go home. I'm not sure if I may go bad. I'm starting to get older right now I'm 15, near 16. And I don't think I would do well as a counselor. I don't think I can handle all that responsibility. But I know every year I've spent there has been the best. That's all for today, folks. In my next storytelling video, I'll be talking about the time I spent at my friends' birthday parties. Anyways, like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. Bye, guys.